Hello and welcome to Hawaii to PTC 23. I'm João Marques Lima, editor of the Tech Capital, and here with me I've got Jeff Uphues, CEO of DC BLOX. And Jeff, it's a pleasure speaking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
I have been following DC BLOX for quite a while. You keep making the headlines all over the US and some other markets. Before we go into what the company is doing, let's talk about what's happened this week, because we are at Hawaii, we are starting the year now. This is the push into 2023. There's a lot of conversations around recessions, interest rates, capital markets. What's your view of the current state of the digital infrastructure marketplace?
Well, I mean, here at PTC, all you have to do is look around you and see the number of attendees, whether it's people from the financial institutions, whether it's operators like us, whether it's large hyperscalers, whether it's the carriers, and you can see there's a quick in everybody's step. Everybody's looking forward to a great 2023. There's lots of different things with recession, fears that people have. Interest rates have certainly been climbing. I think, more importantly, everybody has got a lot of confidence around what's taking place within digital infrastructure and how that's going to continue to keep propelling throughout 23, 24, 25. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot slowing it down, but there are concerns that a lot of us have as operators and people looking at interest rates, at availability of materials and lots of things.
Yeah, well, the supply chain issue is still going to prevail this year a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think there's so much of a demand when it comes to switchgear and UPS systems and mechanical systems and generators and other things that really dominate the landscape of providing good sustainability and quality data centers. I mean, you have to have those materials. I still see that as going to be difficult in 23, probably going into some portions of 24. To the flip side, the construction industry is starting to see a little bit of flexibility now within things. They've loaded themselves up with all different types of build processes and more facilities they're building that they're starting to see those slow down because other segments, whether it's distribution warehouses or other things, are slowing down, which creates a little bit more availability within steel and within concrete and within availability of labor. You still fight over some of the same pools to get them to work on your projects, but I think that's going to be a little bit more easing more third, fourth quarter of this year.
Hopefully then into 24 and 25, things will be a bit more stabilized.
Yeah, you hope so. I mean, so many of the hyperscalers and so many of large enterprises and others understand the difficulty of what we as operators are going through. And so they're buying ahead further. So instead of buying, hey, I can buy something 1 year out, they're buying 2 years out, 3 years out, which is causing this influx of things that, has just got everybody really, really busy. So hopefully we'll slow down a little bit with some of the challenges, but, time will tell.
Yeah. It's cyclical as well. I mean, these things come and go in a cyclical way. So how is, because DC BLOX is very active in expanding and doing all that, how is DC BLOX prepared for this year in terms of supply chain issues, market caps and all that? Yeah,
great question. I mean, we tried to do as much preparation as we possibly could, and get ahead of it. Buying land and strategically in markets, ensuring that you have the right power in certain markets. How do you fulfill those demands, and then getting ahead of it and really having great partnerships with some of our suppliers, and whether those suppliers are general contractors or the suppliers are all the materials that I mentioned before. We're good on 24. Or 23, and then going into 24, we've got an aggressive build plan. We're doing both long-haul fiber, so we design, build, operate, and own long-haul fiber networks, and we also design, build, operate, and own data centers. So in the combination of those, we're really good on the fiber side for materials and construction. We're really good in 24 around the materials that we need for our data centers. I think that as we continue to keep growing, we're going to be challenged by a little bit, like everybody is, but just to have to manage those communications to customers of how long it's going to take.
There is a little bit of conversations around power constraints and zoning changes and regulations. Have you experienced anything dramatic, something quite too much to deal with, or how are you coping with the new zoning regulations and general regulations and power constraints?
Well, we generally operate in the southeast United States. So we're not into Ashburn, Virginia, where there's been tremendous amount of challenge with availability from power. And so within our power companies, the South and the southeast United States has been pretty active in making sure they got a good stable power grid. We don't have some of the issues like what we have or what we see in water areas of things in the Southwest. It's not constrained at all with just some of the massive demand of what they're having and all the influx of people in Texas markets. We're pretty good overall. We haven't seen it, but there's still, as an example, a 2-year lead time if you want to build a power substation that is on your property, and the availability of materials. So, so far we've been pretty lucky, and I think a lot of it has to go to the infrastructure that's in the southeast, and that's where we're focused.
Okay, 2 years seems to be quite standard at the moment. 2-year wait to do something.
Yeah, it is. It is. You always aim to pull it in further. At DC BLOX, we've had a track record of performance, of design, build, operate, and own. As an example, we're building a new subsea cable landing station on the eastern seaboard in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's a roughly 52,000 square foot facility in phase 1, adding on another, call it another 35 to 40,000 square feet in phase 2. The first phase, we broke ground on it in mid-September. We will be commercially ready by sometime in June. So we still have a performance track record of stockpiling materials, working with our vendors, having a tight build plan, and being able to build a facility in that time period, in many cases, is unheard of by people. Took a lot of planning up front. So, you can't just say, wow, I want to build a data center and then just build it in 9 months. But still, we're still seeing good track records of building sizable facilities on property that we own in record time compared to what we hear in some of the industry standards, but we're not building the same size. We're not building 1 million square feet. We're not building 200,000 square feet. We're building in, call it 30 to 50 to 70,000, square foot chunks.
Okay, and then so your footprint is still very much based in North America. Any plans to go anywhere else? What's your investors' appetite in terms of geographical expansion? Well,
we're blessed. We're backed by Bain Capital as one of our leading investors.
Small name.
They have a thirst and a belief that our company can continue to keep executing in the way we are. With that, it's very easy to get distracted if you have the ability to just go anywhere, build anywhere, wherever customers want. We're not that company. We're going to continue to stay focused in the southeast United States with our fiber assets, continually operating in what some people would consider secondary markets. We don't think that they're secondary, as they have a major demand for everything what we're doing, and we're going to continue to keep executing around the southeast. I like to refer to the southeast United States as we're big football fans in the Southeast. And, you've got the Southeast Conference or the SEC. The SEC is expanding into a lot of areas. They've just added Oklahoma and Texas coming in next year. So we kind of look at it from Virginia to Missouri to Texas to Florida. That's where DC BLOX is going to continue to operate.
Okay, interesting. In my head, that makes you very, very appetizing for an investor to buy the company, even though you've got Bain Capital as the backer. Is there any exit strategy? Is there do you guys keep that on the table all the time, or you really just focus on building this and this is for the long term?
We have a long-term business focus. You never say never. However, everybody has an investment horizon. DC BLOX, and at least my view on things and our leadership team's view on it is, if you take care of your customers and you take care of your employees, the investors ultimately will be taken care of. So don't focus on what the exit is. Take care of employees, take care of customers, take care of investors in that order, and you'll be in a position where you'll have a very successful business.
And a good case study.
Absolutely.
And then Jeff, so Hawaii PTC 23, we are just right at the end, the last leg of this year's conference. What does a conference like PTC do for you and for DC BLOX, for the business?
Well, it's a long way to come.
Oh yeah.
We're based in
switch off as well.
Yeah, correct. You've got a beautiful venue here. For us, it's an opportunity to thank the customers for which we've done business with all year, to explore new relationships with people that we're not doing business with. Understand all the suppliers are here. all the financial institutions that help us do what we do in either lending money or being a partner within our business, and see a lot of time with friends and colleagues that all of us have been around this business for the better part of 30 years and a long time. So you got a lot of friends, you got a lot of colleagues, a lot of great places where you can meet, meeting after meeting after meeting. I mean, I think I've had 10 to 12 meetings a day, every day, starting at 7 a.m. through dinners. So it's pretty exhausting, but at the end of the day, you feel like you've accomplished a lot, and you can do that all in one place. And this beautiful setting, how can you beat it?
Yeah, you can accomplish so much because everyone is here.
Correct.
Who's someone is here right now. One word to describe how you feel about this year.
Excited.
Excited. All right. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for talking to me. As for your home, thank you for watching, and do check our website for more exclusive content coming out of PTC 23 here in Hawaii. Until next time, mahalo.